live, but my head is really big on this shot. But anyway, what's going on,
You
guys?
got a big head. Let me put my head closer. I got a big head.
I think we both have big heads, but
we do have big heads.
welcome, guys, to the Page and Hamill YouTube channel. I see all the people I already recognize. I see Gardens in here, Koala in here, Dash Your Life Hawaii. What's going on? Pia, Broderick. Did you see that Chubb injury? Oh, damn. What happened to Chubb?
I didn't see it, but I got an ESPN notification. I guess he hurt his leg, so maybe it was kind of nasty. But I mean, I'm assuming it wasn't good.
So he got carted off?
I don't know. I just got an ESPN notification saying he got hurt, but I didn't know how severe it was. But I did hear about it, so that's unfortunate.
Definitely. I appreciate you guys for coming through. We got a little bit of everything we're talking about. Obviously, Pedro had a really terrible weekend. Cold takes, team sucks. I don't know what he's doing. He may not be able to talk about sports ever again after this epic weekend.
Hey! I got a $328 ticket that says otherwise, sir. We'll talk about that though.
We'll talk about that as well. He got that big bet going on, and obviously you see the title and the thumbnail. We're talking about some MGTOW. Pedro is a little familiar with it. I don't know if he checked out any videos or did any research.
A little bit.
Yeah, we're gonna be talking about. And that kind of coincides with one of the themes that we talk about a lot on this channel, men's health, what they're dealing with, men's issues, because we both are men, and the things that are affecting society to a point why there's so many locales fighting each other right now.
Yeah. Especially
in our little community, in the gig community. All right, I have to mention this real quick. So I'm sure you guys know one guy that doesn't wash his hands. I saw a video he just made earlier today, and he's still like, hey, we could just all talk this out. Like his two locales are fighting each other, and they're like, we all could talk this out. Is Torp like? He don't seem like a very smart guy. It's impossible. I think almost 95% of people realize Eli is a problem, and there's one guy, because they're friends, he's like, let's talk this out. Like, did you think Mr. No Wash His Hands ever watched any videos that he did any research on Eli? I think he does not. I think on purpose too.
But I do want to disagree with you on something real quick. Let's get it out of the way right now. Okay.
Yeah.
I see your point. But I do think there are some people, we've talked about this, we just draw the line. People aren't going to get along. We should not all like each other and get along. That's okay. But I'm not against, I didn't watch that video, but if he's trying to say, hey, can we try to, look at this at a different angle, maybe there's more likeness than disagreeing with certain people, I'm not against that. I think for me, if I'm being honest, I don't like Torp necessarily, but he's not as bad as the other individuals in my opinion.
I wouldn't say that.
I think he's just kind of playing a character. He's kind of funny sometimes. He's a little weird, but he's not as dumb as the other individuals. His hands might not be dirty or might not be clean, but he's not stupid. I think some of the other people are literally kind of stupid.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't watch his stuff anymore. But I don't know. I'd be lying if I didn't go back and forth. Sometimes I feel like, you know what? Maybe everybody should just get on one fucking stream and just yell and scream for a minute, and maybe everybody will feel better. Because at this point, people are just yelling and screaming to themselves on their phone. Right. And it's just ridiculous. It's stupid. And nobody really wants to have a real conversation. So I would, I'm not against having a real conversation if I felt like it was going to be with people that had a level of intellect. But the problem is some of them don't have a level of intellect, and you can't even have a conversation. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I feel you. I think that the idea of having a conversation, I think at least with Eli, isn't possible. I think at this point, we've watched enough of him. This is what he's doing. This is how he does his thing, and it definitely coincide to some of the MGTOW stuff, because apparently that's where he came from. So I have a lot of thoughts on MGTOW and even a little bit of his situation, just by hearing at this point, I've listened to a lot of what he is spewed, right? And he's walking with purpose stuff. So we're going to talk about that. But first, there's something more important right now. Pedro's sports weekend. Now, guys.
All right, listen.
You know what, Pedro?
No, go ahead. No. I want to hear what you guys say.
Okay, so all right. First off, you dropped a short on our channel. I appreciate you guys. You're the shorts guy.
I'm the shorts guy. And Hannibal kind of chops up the long form video. So we got to have a good little relationship when it comes to it. We got a good little balance there. So it's
right. Yeah. So Pedro's balance was like, I'm going to throw the coldest take right out the bat. He was like, "Listen, Coach Prime, they suck. They're gonna lose this game. They're trash." I forgot. I didn't watch the whole video.
No, I didn't say. I said this is
okay.
embarrassing because they were supposed to win by 25, and at that point, when I made that short, they were losing, and then they come back and go 98 yards, tie the game, 2-point conversion, win in overtime, and I'm like, I'm sitting there like, damn. Actually, I was like, I'm glad I made that video. Hopefully, it gets a lot of hate, a lot of views. I'm good with it. But it was definitely a premature take. But I still stand by the embarrassing because they looked like shit for most of the game until the last 2 minutes, which was crazy, you know.
Well, so what you thought? They got too wrapped up in emotions of it all because Prime works with that, right? That's how he gets his flow, and I think that's the theme of the team. But I don't think every member of the team is going to want to always take it personal, right? Like, okay, so what happened? The coach on the other side was talking about wearing sunglasses and hats to meetings. Now everyone started trashing him. I'm sorry. So I guess I'm on the other side of this. Back in the day, when you went to school, what did they tell you when you walked into the classroom or walk into a building? Take your hat off. You can't walk in with sunshades. Now, I understand. Coach Prime, Deion Sanders, greatest cornerback ever played the game. Of course, he could walk in and wear whatever the hell he wants. So I understand that. And maybe that's what the other guys should have realized. Like, that it didn't make any sense. For you're going to play this team. You know how they use bullet board material. That was pretty stupid. That was a dumb decision on that coach. But let's not pretend that we don't want these young kids walking around with their hats on. And I used to hate that rule. I hated it because we all, a lot of times our hair wasn't looking nice. We want to wear the cap to school, but every minute someone would take that cap off. So I didn't understand why we were like yelling at, like, if you have a meeting with someone, right? It's not sunny. Or, it's indoors. If somebody walked in with a hat and sunglasses on, that'd be kind of weird. Like, yo, what are you trying to hide? What's going on? So that part I do agree with the other guy. But I don't know. That
I'm not against. I get it when it comes. Certain people look at that as disrespectful, right? If you're talking to somebody and you have glasses and a hat. But what that coach did was he said that, and it's like, well, my mom raised me to take my hat and glasses off. So he's implying that Deion's mom didn't raise him with a good enough moral compass. That's what he's implying. So he did make it a little personal, right?
Right.
I don't know. Listen, I think there are some things that like the old school values and respect and opening doors and doing this and being respectful and taking a hat off when you eat, like that shit's old. It's just old. It's just, and I think a lot of people are scared of what Deion's doing. It's very different. It's very similar to the Michigan basketball Wolverines back in the 90s with Chris Webber, Jalen Rose, the baggy sweat, the baggy shorts, the bald heads, the swagger. Some people liked it. A lot of people didn't, right? And I think Coach Prime right now, I mean, $4.5 million in sales were purchased from those glasses and all the marketing that came.
They look pretty good, actually. How much it cost? I didn't even look at it.
It's like $60 or $70. I think 70,000 pairs were purchased. 70,000.
Seven figures he earned. I mean, it was a smart move. And an interesting thing about tradition, right? Like Coach Prime is kind of breaking the mold. But when you see him talking, he's very traditional. He's very aggressive and he's doing old school football. Because they asked him years ago, I think when he was actually doing his thing in Jackson State, would you ever coach an NFL team? He said no, because I would have to kill someone. Like half the team would not come out of the halftime if they because it's harder to talk to multimillionaires. But I understand that. I mean, it was a bad move. I think you don't want to do that. Great game. I mean, he's really lifting up college football to another level, which is already higher than
it's crazy. There's no way I would have watched Colorado in Colorado State. I've never watched a game, and I watched it the other night. So he's definitely has the attention. I do want to say this: Travis Hunter, the player that plays 80 plays a game, he plays both ways, which doesn't happen a lot in college anymore. It happens in high school a lot. He's a cornerback and a wide receiver. He took a vicious hit from a late hit.
It was late. I mean,
it was super late, a little dirty, but he lacerated his liver. He tried to play the game and then had to go to the hospital. So he's out 3 to 4 weeks. That's a big. He's besides the quarterback Shedeur Sanders, he's their best player. So that's going to hurt them big time. But hopefully he rests up. He's okay. It'll heal on its own, I guess. But Super unfortunate. Very exciting game. I didn't expect it to be that close. So yeah, the football weekend's been interesting. I did make a bet, a 4-leg parlay, which is right here,
Pedro, guys.
that I just
Parlay
had.
Pedro.
Parlay Pedro. So I had.
And what you got?
Money line Colorado, which I had to sweat that out. They won.
Yeah.
Buffalo Bills money line. They won. The Giants money line, which we'll talk about that in a minute. They came back from 21-point deficit. And I had the Saints money line. I bet $100 to win $320, and that just cashed because I think the Saints just won. So
nice.
That's a positive, at least from the week.
You know what? It doesn't matter how bad your Bears played. I would take. All right, if you had your opportunity right now. I'll rip this
motherfucker up to get a Bears W. I'll say that right now.
What's that song, R. Kelly? You can't talk about R. Kelly anymore. But if you could change the hands of time and take that money that you just earned to go back and get the Bears to win, what would you do?
I would easily right now lose this $100 and not get to $320. I'd tear this ticket up, take my bet back if the Bears would have been able to beat Baker Mayfield and the Buccaneers. Because right now, the whole city of Chicago is feeling some type of way. We have basically the worst team in football right now with the quarterback that's putting up. He can't read. He can't make a second and third read. He's missing guys that are open. He's sitting there holding the ball, getting sacked. He's not even running the football like he did last year. He looks bad. The coaching staff is way over their head. The play calling is trash. The defense is trash. We had so much optimism going into this season after the moves we made in the summer, and people are like, all right, Aaron Rodgers is gone. Yeah, the Vikings still have Kirk Cousins. The Lions are still the Lions. This is our year. Justin Fields is going to make that step. We got DJ Moore. We got some defensive guys. Let's put this together. It's embarrassing to see what we've done in 2 games. And the city is not happy with the coach, the offensive coordinator, and Justin Fields. Those 3 guys together do not make a good match, and it's been very embarrassing to watch. We've lost 12 games in a row with us giving up 25 points or more in every game. That's never been done in the history of the NFL. We've lost the last 12 games and given up 25 points each time, at least. That's never been done. And we are a historic franchise. So I'm completely embarrassed to even think that I thought we'd be good because 2 games in, we look like the worst team in the NFL.
Yeah. Red Bull Jack says, when you're the worst team in the NFL and it isn't the Browns, you got to be feeling some sort of way. But so you point out a bunch of things. So it's like,
yeah, I know. I was rambling because it's been a rough weekend to be a Bears fan.
Yeah, because I'm wondering like what exactly is the problem? Is it just so it's just like a avalanche of just bad everything, like I said, the coaching, the players, obviously the coordinators. There's like a bunch of things is all happening at the same time.
Well, the play calling's been subpar, and the decision making from a quarterback perspective to either not be, your first option is not there. Okay, who's my second and third option? And I can't hold the ball. I gotta run like I did last year and get something. He's just getting sacked. The offensive line is trash. Chase Claypool is absolutely, he's got to go. He looks disinterested. I know he had a touchdown this week, but he's not doing much. DJ Moore's not doing much. I mean, Darnell Mooney, the running backs, the deep. I mean, it's all over the place. There isn't any facet of the game where we've looked good. It's just bad. And to lose to Baker Mayfield.
No one did worse than the Jets. So the Jets did win a game the first game.
They did. So. They won the first game. Yeah, they did.
So you off the Justin Fields bandwagon now?
Well, I wouldn't say I'm off it. It's only 2 games, but I'm not happy. Like this is not the start we envisioned, and the schedule doesn't look good for us in the next few games. I think we play somebody really good next week. Can't remember. You guys told me in the chat, but it's just not. It's Justin Fields just looks like he doesn't know what he's doing. He missed several wide open guys in that game, and I think he's either scared because he's going to get sacked. He's indecisive. He's not making a quick decision. And you have to be able to do that in the NFL or you will not last at the quarterback position. And he does not look good. He looks right now, the Arizona Cardinals, Joshua Dobbs, outplayed Justin Fields yesterday. Now, they weren't playing in the same arena, but Joshua Dobbs just got on the Arizona Cardinals. Last week was his first week. He didn't even know some of his teammates' names. He got there that quick. And then yesterday, he put up big numbers, just barely lost to the Giants. I mean, and Justin Fields can't play better than Joshua Dobbs. Like, it's embarrassing. It just is. So
I know you're really mad because of the Baker Mayfield winning.
Dude. I can't remember what I said last week. I don't like Baker Mayfield. There's nothing that I like about him. I don't like his attitude. I don't like how he looks. I don't like I think he's overrated. I think he's just a little too cocky. And we lost to him, and he outplayed Justin Fields. And it's like he looked like Brett Favre out there. It's ridiculous. Like what is happening? It's crazy, man. I don't get it, man.
All right, so you're the coach. You're the coach of the Bears. What are you gonna do? Like, what were your moves? Like, if you had, what you adjust? Like,
I think they have to be willing to push the ball down the field a little bit more, and we have to tell Justin Fields, hey, you can't hold on to the ball. And if you're gonna hold on, you gotta use your athleticism to get out of the pocket and rush for 5 yards or something. You can't just stand there and pat and wait. You got to make a quicker decision. You have to make a quicker decision and play with more confidence. And he does not look like he's playing with confidence right now.
Yeah. Bobby's in the building. He says he's inaccurate and indecisive, typical Ohio State quarterback playing NFL. Ooh. Yeah, there's a few. That was another one that came through that wasn't all that great. Shoot, from Ohio State that played recently. I gotta look it up.
Oh man.
Oh
yeah, I can't remember. CJ Stroud is a new guy. He's a rookie though. You're talking about somebody else.
Yeah. Joe Buddy coming embarrassing. That probably is on a Chicago news sports news section.
Yeah, it's bad. But listen, let's talk about your team because that was an interesting game. So let's talk about the G-Men real quick.
Well,
before we get into the MGTOW.
Well, I'll tell you right now, Pedro, the bet doesn't look too great for you since you're 0-2. The Giants finally woke up, and it took a while. I mean, it took basically to the second half to realize, we're playing a game against a team that's tanking. I don't know. Am I being like inaccurate? It looks like the Cardinals are tanking. It looks like they're going to try to get some picks or something like that because it's a lot of young people over there. That's why before I was like, the Giants should win this game. They have a better squad. Yeah. But they were down 21 points. And I basically they lost by 40. I don't know if you guys remember this. First week, Cowboys, 40. They didn't score a point. One of the most embarrassing Giants, definitely the most embarrassing opening that I've ever seen the Giants play. So it wasn't a whole lot of hope. But I'm like, okay, Cardinals, Kyler Murray, whatever, he's not even there or whatever. The team's young. Whatever, they should win. They were down by 21. I started to give up, which me, I give up very quickly on people.
You do give up quickly. I texted you, and I think I said something like, man, our teams suck. And then a quarter later, I was like, the Giants are playing good. I was like, okay. And then I was invested. I was watching the game. But you give up real quick. Like if y'all don't know, like the Giants could be down like 10 points in the first quarter. Hannibal throws the remote. He's like, fuck this, I'm out of here. And he stops watching the game, and then I'll have to text him what really happened later on.
That 41 was dramatic, man. Like it was like, what the hell? It's like you're seeing your favorite team just getting their ass kicked. So they pulled it out. They just got things together. Now I think Brian Daboll started making plays. Like he started taking the plays over. If that's true, just you do it, because clearly something is off. Especially the first game where they were getting their ass kicked. So if that's the change, keep it up. The one bad thing about the when Saquon did sprain his ankle, they say he's
out
week.
Three weeks is what I saw.
The 3 weeks? Shit.
Yeah.
They need him. Without him, I mean, they're playing the 49ers next week. They're not winning that game. So it's going to be 1-2, which is fine. I mean, as long as all I got to do is have a better standing than the Bears.
Well,
when the Bears going to win a game? You look at what do they play next week?
Listen, we should have won. I had us at 2-0. We should have beat the Buccaneers, and we should. I thought we were going to beat the Packers easily. I was so hyped the first week, and then Jordan Love and Baker Mayfield. Like, it's embarrassing, man.
But Jordan Love almost won his game against did they play the Falcons yesterday?
The Falcons, yeah.
Yeah, it was a close game.
He looks all right. He looks all right.
He's not. Yeah, I mean, he's no Aaron Rodgers, but. So, you guys – oh, shit. Yeah, you lost. You're playing Kansas City.
Yeah.
On my birthday.
That's an
Damn, dog. That's a – yeah.
It's an L.
Yeah,
it's an L.
That's not going to work out for you. But you know what? Listen. And with Saquon out, we're going to lose to the 49ers. I don't think that's going to happen. I mean, I doubt it. Hector says Daniel Jones was accurate as well in the second half. Out was money. Yeah, so
and he was moving. He was pushing the ball down the field too. They started taking some shots, and Daniel Jones played really well in the second half yesterday.
Oh, Chubb injury was awful. Should we watch it? Is it like really bad? It's probably on YouTube already. You want to see it?
Let's take a look. Let's take a look. Let's take a look.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me see. I'm sure someone uploaded it already.
That stuff gets uploaded so quick now.
Yeah, I still don't know how they make money. Because it's like well, let me see if is this one show it? Let me see before. Because sometimes they don't like to show the injury. Now, where is it?
Stevie Wonderful says the Lions have broken my heart forever. Yeah, it's tough being a Lions fan. It's like I compare that to being a Cubs fan, right? But you guys still haven't won a Super Bowl. At least the Cubs got a World Series, but it's hard to be a Lions fan.
Yeah, that was a good game though. But it seemed like the Lions just go down like always dramatic. It's always like a dramatic fashion type of thing. I was watching what's Derek's stream. Was it coaching? No, it's Detroit Lions Syndicate.
Syndicate, okay.
Yeah, he did not look too happy. I was like, damn.
No, I'm sure he wasn't. I'm sure he wasn't.
Okay. All right. I don't think we need to hear the sound, so we're just gonna press play here. See how bad this looks.
Let's see.
Oh. Okay. I saw how the leg looked. No, he can't get up. He did like a weird flip and it caught on something.
Oh man, he's down too. That's probably his ACL, MCL, his knee, I guess.
I think it was knee.
Oof.
Yeah, they're probably gonna. Let me see if I can find where it slow it down. Oh.
They might need to get Kareem Hunt back. I bet Kareem Hunt goes back because he's a free agent right now.
Let me see where. Yeah, he like. Oh, yeah, you saw it?
No, I didn't see it.
Okay, let me stop. Okay, and then you see. Look at you see it.
I see it, but I can't. It's too far for me to.
Too far. Let me see. Let me try to. How do you? No.
There's not like a up close, like a.
I'm doing it, but it's just not working. But yeah, I can see it. You can see his knee is bent.
Damn. The opposite way. Yeah.
Right. He just probably got caught in some guy's body or something like that.
Crazy.
So he's out. They kind of need him. So I don't know where that goes for that team. But yeah, that did not look good at all. Damn, my head is big. Okay. Hector says the worst injuries in sports history was Sean Levinson. I remember that. That was pretty terrible.
Ooh, that was bad. I think the worst one I've ever seen. If you guys remember this, if you don't, it's hard to watch. The Louisiana Cardinals. Rick Pitino was coaching the Louisiana Cardinals, and they had a guard, and his bone came out of his maybe femur. Do you remember that? This was back in like 2006 or 7. His entire bone just shot out of his leg on the sideline. Yeah, Louisiana
what's his
Cardinals. Name? I can't remember his name.
So like, you mean his name is Kevin or something? Oh no,
I can't remember his name, but I remember watching that game live, and it was like it was the worst thing I've ever seen. Yeah, it was crazy.
The ones that's weirded me out is mixed martial arts. When someone does a kick, like a simple kick, and it gets checked by another block. And their chin like snaps. Yeah, those weird me out. So like Anderson Silva had one, and Connor had one, and their legs is like a noodle. Those actually weird me out. I'm like, that's just knock me out.
Yeah. So shout out to Welty. He says Kevin Ware. That was his name. Yes, it was a really good Louisiana team that had a really good. They had another guard. I can't remember his name either. Silva. SIVA, I think. It was a good team. Rick Pitino coach. I think they actually went on to play in the national championship game. I can't remember if they won or lost, but that was it was horrific, man. Yeah, it was really bad.
Do you want to see it?
No, I actually don't. Show them. I won't watch.
If you guys want to see the Kevin Ware bone video, it's bad. On YouTube.
It's bad.
But if you guys want to check it out,
it's on YouTube.
You want to share it together in this thing. Dash like another one. Gordon Harewood, that didn't look great.
Yeah, that was bad. Joe Theismann, Lawrence Taylor snapped Joe Theismann's leg in half. on a Monday Night Football game. I think, that was bad.
Yeah, but Lawrence Taylor can do that to a lot of people,
True.
a lot of men, right? At that time,
true.
Well, he was a damn beast. Oh wow, I did not know this one. Dennis Beard sacked in 1992, neck paralyzed. Was he able to walk again, or that was it?
Yeah, I don't remember that.
Yeah, Jesus,
crazy.
I mean, it's a violent game. Yeah. It's not like, obviously unexpected type of stuff. Welty thinks we're masochists. Not really. We just enjoy the sports and weird shit like that. I don't know. Yeah. But anything else? So what? So you got your money.
Yeah, I got. So yeah, I get to go and 300. And I turned 100 into 328. That's pretty good. It's not bad.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
Are you like a sports bettor now? You're gonna make a channel, Pedro Parlay Pedros?
No, definitely not.
No?
I'm not going to do that. No, I'm good.
So when you make your bets, are you doing a lot of like analysts, like analytical research, or is more like feeling?
I don't do the research. No, I don't. I go to the box, I look at the options, I look at the odds, and then I say, you know what, I like this. I like the odds on it. Let's go with it. And that's it. I don't do too much thinking. I don't bet a lot. But this one, I felt like this was pretty safe because I went 4-leg parlay, but I picked all the favorites. Yeah. I mean, the Panthers got a rookie quarterback playing the Saints. I was like, okay, Buffalo just lost. I'm like, they're not losing 2 in a row, especially to the Raiders. No. That's a W. I picked Colorado versus Colorado State. That was a landslide favorite. The game was close, but I was like, I just put that in because the odds went up a little for me. I was like, that's an easy one. And I almost lost the whole bet on the first day. And then I had the Giants. I was like, the Giants are not going to lose to the Arizona Cardinals after they lost 40-0.
Yeah, right?
So I thought these 4 picks were just money in the bag, and they won. So yeah.
You did have like some close calls. Like, are you serious? They're gonna actually not make this work, but
yeah,
it's good.
It worked out.
All good. Ricky Moss says fins up, everybody. All right, I feel you.
Yeah, they look good. Dolphins look good.
I'll tell you right now, Patriots ain't winning that division. They're pretty much done. Just same thing with my Giants. They're not winning the division.
Cowboys look good. The Cowboys defense is tough right now, and they have offensive weapons. The Cowboys look like the best team in the NFL right now, in my opinion. Right now, after
they're not going there.
Best. Yeah,
it's cool.
After week two, nobody's looked as good as them. They've been very dominant versus pretty solid teams. So they look pretty tough. Yeah.
I hear that. We'll see. I don't have a lot of faith in them. Even though I think Hector said he wants us to move to Texas. I wouldn't listen. If I had one of those, that'd be one of the places I would like to check out and live. But everyone's going to Texas now. Like, aren't you getting tired of everyone showing up? He's like, go somewhere else. Like, why you keep coming over here? But yeah, the income tax thing, it's not bad. My money will go a little longer there.
It would.
All right. Are you ready?
MGTOW, let's go. Let's offend some people. Yeah, let's go.
You're ready to defend people.
I know I am. I'm always ready to offend somebody. I don't know why. It feels good sometimes.
Okay, so I'm sure you guys are familiar because I think many people who are hanging out with us have met up with that Eli guy, and I guess that's where he started. I mean, I don't have all the history of the man. All I know is he's weird. But anywho, I've watched a lot of videos based on this. It's kind of similar to the Red Pill, but a little different. But we'll see some, I guess, comparison. So MGTOW is acronym Men Going Their Own Way. It's a social and online movement that advocates men to prioritize their own well-being, independence, self-ownership over traditional society expectations, often regarding relationships with women. So basically live your lives outside, I guess, the confines of conventional roles. So basically you're saying, you know what, I'm not going to be bothered getting married or even having kids or kind of following that because they believe at this point that the current situation, like that term we use, modern women, have made the landscape of having, a relationship, a healthy one, impossible, right? And this is where they kind of like, you know what, I'm not gonna do this anymore. I'm gonna go my own way. Now, there's a lot of criticism with that ideal because, at the same time, you kind of, at least for me, a village, a society is about families, making babies, coming together, having, I think that's how societies are built. It's not really much how you could build something, but without, ability to reproduce, you're like, what are you building really? It's kind of like, I'm not saying it's a selfish thing, but it's individual, right? If you're going your own way and you're going to do whatever, it's not the same as actually building a traditional family. But people are saying, who criticize the traditional way, is modern women made it impossible to date. They're asking for too much. They can leave you. So a lot of them are saying, don't get married, right? Because majority of the time it's not going to work, and they can take your money, they'll take your kids. So it's a lot of fear with many of these people, and obviously, I'm sure there's a segment of this community that had tons of problem with women. Couldn't get with them.
Clearly, that's where they're coming from.
Traumatic issues where they think they need to do this, right? So, Pedro, before we continue, give me your thoughts initially. When someone says MGTOW, they're going away, what thoughts come to your head?
Oh, you really want to know? Okay, yes. So I always will. And I do need to say this first as a disclaimer. Not that I have to, but I'm going to. I don't know a lot about this community, and I am not anti-men's support groups and men taking control and not being taken advantage of. I am pro those things. But on the surface level, seeing what I've seen and thinking about and hearing what Hannibal's saying, to be a man going their own way and saying, I'm just going to do this and I don't want to be taken advantage of, and she's going to take my money. That is victim mentality. We talk about that a lot. It's very weak. I think it's very, I see that there's a problem, and instead of me offering a solution, I'm just going to run away and hide in the corner like a little bitch. That's how I look at it. And I'm not part of this community. I've never been in these MGTOW groups. And so if you feel like I'm taking a shot at you, maybe I'm wrong. But just because you have had experiences that have been negative with women and you can't get a date, and maybe your wife left you, and these things are all sad. This is an issue men are facing. Real men don't give up. It doesn't mean you just go your own way and say, fuck it, I'm not going to date anymore. I don't need to have kids. Fuck this. I don't care. These women out here no, not all women are bad. Some are. Yeah. The dynamics have changed, but to go into it and just be like, I'm just going to do my own thing now. I give up. That's why you don't have a woman in your life, because that's the mentality and the energy you're giving out. And women nowadays, while I think their expectations are they're off. Every woman wants a high value man. Their expectations are off. The expectations for a lot of men are off as well. We want to date 8, 9s, and 10s, but we're 4s and 5s. And we don't have, we're not millionaires. So like, if you're a 4 or 5, you don't get to date an 8, 9, or 10 unless you're a billionaire or a millionaire. So I think the expectations on both sides just need to be lowered and be more realistic, men and women. But you can't, these guys in this community, my opinion, based on the ones I've seen online, they're weak individuals, and they're not willing to be like a man, and they don't want to be traditional. And I think most good women want a traditional man. That's my opinion. So that's how I look at it. I think you can't, just because you're not getting what you want doesn't mean you give up. I don't like that. It's victim mentality to me. So that's my hot take.
And Inspector Colombo comes with his analysis. He said it's more about the mentality of the female. There are many money hungry. Dasher Life Hawaii says the dating pool has pee in it. So we can look at it from that perspective. Why would someone come to see the videos that are showing MGTOW lifestyles, right? Like why they are going through this? But let's see right now, like the prevalence of men and their mental issues, right? 1 out of 5 experience a mental health issue. About 6 million men suffer from depression. 3 million are diagnosed with anxiety disorder every year. Men are 3.5 times more likely to commit suicide. Men are more likely to engage in substance abuse. There's a lot happening, clearly, right? And then if there's a man who had a wife and the wife cheats on him, takes the kids, now he has to pay for child support, alimony. It would be really difficult to think, at least even for that person to say, you know what, I just got to keep moving on. That's hard. You have to. It's important. You should. But man, at that point, I never experienced it, and I hopefully I never will.
Yeah.
Then you're watching videos, and you're watching people are telling you, yeah, women ain't nothing. They're out for your money.
Yep.
Build yourself. Go out, work out. Take care of yourself. Start a business. So that, I guess those type of things are attractive to men who are in a vulnerable state. And I think
when you have a tragedy in your life, you're going to. It seems fair to want to have some answers and be part of a community that has gone through something that's similar to you. I get that. I'm for that 100%. Right. But I will say this. I'll give you all another hot take. Y'all let me know in the comments what you think in the live chat. Women cheat, men cheat, right? I don't know the statistics as far as, but women obviously cheat. Women do bad things to men. Men do bad things to women. It goes both ways. Okay. Women do things. They put kids in the middle. All these things happen. Okay. I'll say this. My perspective is when a woman cheats, the man didn't do something along the line at some point. If your woman is stepping out on you, you did something wrong numerous times. I don't think the average woman that is a married woman just goes out and just a hoe out there in the clubs and screwing all these guys and you did nothing wrong. So I think there's something missing there. You're not giving her what she needs. You're not stepping up. Maybe you cheated. She's getting revenge. To put the kids in the middle, that's crazy. But I think at some point, like when we hear these things, there's always another side to the story, right? So I don't always just look at a woman cheating or a man cheating and thinking that it was 100% on them. I think there's liability on the other side. Something happened, right? And to force that man or that woman to cheat, to step out, right? So for me, like, it doesn't mean you just give up and I'm just going to do my own shit. Like, that's cool if you don't want to be in a relationship. But at the end of the day, you could start working out and joining all these men's groups and rebuilding yourself and rebranding yourself and really focusing. And that's good. But you're still going to want companionship and intimacy, right? Yeah. So you can't just throw it away because of one individual and whatever. I don't believe in that. So.
All right, so we got some people who disagree. I'm gonna look at some of the comments here. I see Lee says that there's a lot of toxic elements in the modern dating scene. Instead of addressing those issues, as people are using them as an excuse to be toxic themselves. Inspector Colombo says women aren't taught to cater to men's feelings. I mean, that's a good point.
It's a good point. I don't think women. I don't think a man should. I think it's better to get support from another man that knows what you're going through, whether it's a group, and it could be groups like this, versus like expecting your woman to understand the pressures a man deals with in 2023. We can't relate to them on some levels, right? So how do we expect them to relate to us? It's just not, and I think sometimes a part of the issue is we should get emotional support and be heard. But when we want that from our woman, sometimes they look at us as weak if you do too much of it. And I think that that's happened a lot, where you're coming home and you're being open. Women say they want an open man and want to share all my feelings, share all your feelings with me. And then you do that and they look at you as less than, which is an issue. I'm not saying that's good, but we have to understand the reality of men and women are just very different. And I think if you overshare as a man to your partner that's a woman, I think long term it could have negative effects sometimes.
Okay. Jersey, appreciate you coming through. I don't know if it's your first time, but thank you. How many people do you know that have been together more than 20 years and still going?
Good question.
Off the top of my head, no. I mean, I guess consider me. I mean, like I said, I'll be 39 next week, and I'm with the same person I was with, but that's pretty much a rare occurrence. My parents were divorced. My grandparents were divorced. My grandparents on my mom's side, they were together forever before they both passed. So yes, I would definitely say that more likely nowadays it's really difficult to be together that long because you see there's so much options out there with the apps where you can literally just swipe, especially if you're a woman, you can basically, there's a lot more matches than men, right?
Sure.
There's another stat I saw about men. I think they're saying right now, 38% of adults between 25 and 54 do not have a partner. So more and more people are not even being together. 39% of men lack a partner. That's a lonely existence for the most part. And then they're not all MGTOWing. They're just existing, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's why the content comes in, because they also just the idea of, all right, you broke up with your woman. The court system does not favor the men. It just doesn't. They're still using the, I guess, old school mentality of, well, the man usually makes more money than the women. The woman, so the woman is going to need more support. But if you notice, there's women out there that they're making more money than men. They don't want to say the wealth gap. They still keep saying the wealth gap. Eventually, it's going to get to a point where they realize that women are making more money. They're in the schools, they're in colleges, they're graduating at higher rates than men. Men are dropping out. Eventually, that is going to come to that point. It's going to be a weird thing, because I think a lot of feminists do not want to even go down that road. But eventually, going to come to a point where, all right, so why? So the alimony may go the other way. Like, you make more money than me. Like,
which would be interesting. Child support goes the other way, like the alimony. I mean, I think you bring up some great points, and you've spoken about that before. Women kind of, the education levels are every year they get, women are graduating at a higher rate, making more money. I still think there's a ways away. I think there's still the good old boys club, as they call it, these businessmen and, and women that just kind of keep it in their own little club. Right. But let me ask you guys this. Okay. If women are exceeding expectations in some parts of economics and education, right, and men are going down, don't you think the women have better options than they did, let's say, 20 years ago?
Yeah, it's interesting. I saw this. I don't know if I could get the video. Tyler Perry. You guys, I'm not a fan of Tyler. I don't understand.
Me neither.
Black people in the chat. Why do you guys like Tyler Perry? I don't find him funny. He puts on the wig. I'm sorry, Martin's better dressed up as a woman. Jamie Foxx. But the guy's a billionaire, and he's like one of the most powerful people in Hollywood. Whatever. He mentioned that women need to stop worrying about how much money the man makes. Not necessarily saying lower your standards, but kind of where you just got to stop focusing on how much money a man makes and try to find other things that you can factor in before you decide not to talk to this person. And he kind of got criticized for it because women don't want to hear that. No one wants to lower their standards. No one does, right? Even the guy that we all know looks like a 3 does not think. First part, they probably don't think that he's a 3, and doesn't want to go a 2. He wants to get high. We all want to do it. Problem is, it's going to be more losers than winners when everyone is trying to get a higher. I guess, what do you call it? They even call it a higher point. It's all subjective, but
everybody's trying to level up. That's what it goes to my point earlier. You got all these 4s and 5s trying to date 8s and 9s, but they're not bringing enough to the table. Because what's funny? There are a lot of happy couples out here. If you go to certain areas, like I see in St. Louis, I'll be doing my thing, working. I see regular Joes and Smos, regular looking folks, not beautiful models and all this social media bullshit. They're together and they seem happy. The dude looks like he's a 4 or 5. She's a 4 or 5. They know their expectations and boom, they're good. And then you see these model-like couples, maybe they're both 8, 9s, and 10s, and they're together. So we have to have a realistic expectation of dating. And I think, my opinion, once again, men have had an unrealistic, and women, well, I'll talk about men first, unrealistic expectation of what they can get. And a lot of that started with pornography, in my opinion. You watching porn, you're looking at beautiful women that you like, a blonde or a girl with a big ass and this and that. And then you think you're going to get that in the real world as a regular dude making 40, 50,000 a year. You're a good man, but you're a regular cat, right? And you're not going to get that. And you're expecting that. And that doesn't meet the realistic expectations. And then on the other side, you have women that maybe they're educated, they're nice, they're good, like, they can cook, they can whatever, right? And they expect a high value man. They want a guy that's 6 foot and he's, tall, dark, and handsome, making 6 figures. That is not the average dude. The average dude's making 40 to 50,000 a year, and he's a blue collar guy, and he's just trying to make the ends meet, right?
Yeah.
So the level of expectations on both sides has to be realistic, and I think it's not. And pornography and social media and all these trash TV shows that paint a picture that's not reality, I think a lot of people watch that and they read Cosmopolitan or whatever, and they feel like they deserve more than they could give somebody else, and that's not realistic in my opinion.
I started to look at some of the stuff about Eli and why he joined the group as if he really was passionate about it, but apparently not. I think DoorDash Danny says, like gig worker groups, Eli worked a total of 4 months, averaged 4 deliveries a day. He sees an opening to infiltrate a group and did so. Red Pool Jack. Eli viewed MGTOW as a potential customer pool of quote unquote emotionally damaged men, and were desperately in need of his paid help. I would like to know anyone who was coached by Eli. I would like to know if he actually had a
if you've been coached by Eli and paid him, come on the show. I would love to hear your story. I'll pay you for your time, because I would love to see if he's coached more than 5 people. Yeah, I doubt it.
I mean, I just want, and that's another thing that a lot of people say about some of the influencers who go on the Red Pool or MGTOW communities. Your Tates, your Just Pearly Things, even your Fresh and Fit. Even I think many of them are not. They're not MGTOWs, but you can notice a lot of the content is very similar. So some people say that's the criticism of these kind of groups is they say it's misogyny. They think it's overgeneralizing. You're making sweeping statements about women, relationships, how society works. You become more isolated because if you're watching a video, you're watching some of these videos out here. I'm gonna show you one. I think I'll find it where women are shown, social media saying terrible stuff, doing terrible things. Every day you're watching videos based on how bad women are. That can't be healthy in your real world relationships. You're not going to try to talk to a girl at the bookstore or at the bar or even at your workplace because you think this woman's going to take your money, or she's not really with you, or she's going to find a taller guy that has more money and just going to leave you.
You're going into it negative. You're like, oh, so so as a man, if you're trying to meet a woman at the gym or the grocery store, or you go on a website, you're going to hear no's. And just because somebody listen, dudes, I'm going to talk to you men directly. Just because a woman says no or she's not interested, you shouldn't take that as a personal attack and that all women are bad. Maybe you have to look in the mirror and say, okay, well, am I doing about it the right way? Like you're going to hear some no's before you hear a yes, but it doesn't mean women are trash and she can't give me the time of day. Like, I just don't believe in that. I think it's a really weak thing to stand on, at least my opinion. But before you bring that up, I want to, you've been with your woman for 20 years, basically, right? So you're the expert. Like, what can we learn from Hannibal is what I'm really interested in knowing.
I guess it really comes to the point of, I guess I couldn't even tell you. I mean, I guess it could be just luck, like blind luck, just meeting the right person, right? That's the best way of saying it, but
it can't be luck.
Just
man.
someone.
Come on,
well,
20 years ain't luck, bro.
Well, 20 years ain't luck, but just finding the person that kind of have the same values or the same principles. It's a give and go. It's a give and receive, where there's things that I'm not good at, but she's great at, and the things that she's not great at, I'm good at. And I guess it worked. I mean, you can tell that it works when you're with your partner during the pandemic and you didn't break up. Because I've seen I've actually in my personal life, many people left each other because they were stuck, and it was like, oh my God, you're annoying, I gotta leave. But our relationship didn't miss a beat because we've been through times we didn't have enough money, and we were in a small apartment. Like we've been through all the difficult points. But it just I think she gets me and I get her, and it kind of just works. And there's stuff I'm leading on for the most part, and then there's stuff that she can lead on, and it's a good dynamic. And she's feminine. She's not trying to. I mean, she could be a little annoying at times, but I'm sure I'm very annoying as well. So
she's when you say she's feminine, do you mean she's playing more of a traditional feminine type role with what's important to her and how she moves every day? Is that
yes? So I mean, she works and she does her thing, but she definitely does not like. There's always a joke about should women be drafted, and she's like, hell no, I don't want to be drafted.
Yeah. She's not trying to be a man. She's not trying to be a man. I think some women are trying to be too much. They're trying to be like a boss bitch, as some would say it, right? I'm a boss. I'm independent. And I don't think a lot of guys want that. And I think most women at the end of the day don't want that either. So
yeah, we're going to extremes. There was one point where women couldn't vote. And I'm like, yeah, that's not great. Like, right, of course. Women didn't go to school. That's not good. But now it's getting to that point where, a a woman is going to sacrifice her childbearing years on a career because this is how it works. There's no way to have. It's going to be difficult to have everything, right? Especially if you're trying to advance your career. And then that's something that you have to look at a couple of years down the line when you're 30, 40 years old, and you don't have that ability to do that. Was it worth it? And I guess that's that individual question. Let's see. Oh yeah. So this is a weird channel. But this is a little different. This is more not MGTOW, but called Black Pill. Something that's basically saying, if you don't look a certain way, if you don't make a certain amount of money, give up. Like basically, that's what a lot. See right here. Yeah, be tall and handsome. So his videos. This is the dude right there in the thumbnail. He spends. It's a pretty successful channel, 140,000 subscribers. It's all about looks. They're saying if you look a certain way, don't bother. You gotta look like this guy. Don't look like that. And apparently, I guess you can pay. He'll rate your face.
Well, but hold on. There's a lot of looks is very everybody likes different things, right? But yeah, like you can look at somebody and say, hey, that person's real attractive, or hey, they're not physically attractive. And I think physical attraction in a relationship is extremely important. You have to initially be attractive and have some kind of chemistry, whatever, because then you need to have positive intimacy, and that's a key for a relationship, in my opinion. Very, very, very key. But you could be an ugly motherfucker, man or woman, and still have a successful relationship with somebody. So I don't understand that necessarily. Now, if you're ugly and your expectation is you're a 4 or 5 and you're trying to date 8 or 9, yeah, you're going to struggle and you're going to get frustrated because you're trying to date above your means.
Yeah. Marty, what happened to the beauty is in the eye of behold? I still believe that, but I think we're so focused on the visuals because we have access to all these information, all this, obviously the dating apps. So we're maybe a little bit too focused on the beauty. The Giggity says booty is in the eye of the behind her.
You're damn
Jesus
right.
Christ. Dude, you should be writing for someone. Like you should be writing some comedy skits. Giggity, you're fucking hilarious. All right, so we'll watch this video. It says dating is over. 100 black pill beliefs in one video. I know we're bouncing around because it's not MGTOW, but I feel like a lot of it, there's some similarities between them. But let's check this video out just for a few minutes, see what they say. Let's get Pedro's take on it. But first, am I sharing the right thing? Okay, cool.
Yeah, we can see it.
1. Looks are the most important factor for man's dating. 1. Looks are the most important factor for man's dating success. 2. Women care about looks more than men. 3. This is mainly because women are much more selective in their mate choice. Their dating strategy can be compared to a single-line fisherman trying to catch the highest quality fish. Meanwhile, 4, most men take whatever they can get. They're like sea trawlers, throwing a big net into the ocean, picking up whatever. There's a lot of men out there that will pretty much go with anyone, attractive or unattractive. 5. Looks is becoming even more important for guys now because of the explosion of online dating apps. 6. Looks is also becoming more important because women are exposed to more and more options daily. What's the fastest way to narrow down 100 options? Easy. Just get rid of anyone short, ugly, bald, and so on. 7. Any man an 8 or above in attractiveness will have the red carpet rolled out for him on online dating app.
Okay, so far, I missed most of that because my sound was wrong. What do you think?
I think there's some truth in here, but a lot of generalizations. I feel like I said earlier, I think if you're a dude, you have to know your current value. And as a man, you can shift your value. You could be a really good looking guy, and on the surface level, you're might going to be easier for you to be swiped on, and girls will want to date you because of your looks. But if you're a doofus, women will not stay with a good looking dude if he's a doofus. That is a fact. Okay. Like now a man will stay with a good looking chick maybe if she's not that bright because men value looks more than women, right? But as a dude, we have to remind ourselves, women don't care about looks initially, maybe on a dating website, but that will only get you so far. A high value man, if you have good money, confidence, okay, if you're successful, if you have a good sense of humor, that's what women, I think, value, right? How are you running your life? Are you, doing positive things? Are you going to be a good provider? You come from a good family. That's what women care about, right? So you could have a guy that's an 8, but if he's a doofus, his credit score's 200, and he's living with his mom, like nobody's going to want to really date you, So I think men just have to understand, like, what is our current value, and us as men can shift that. We can shift that by putting ourselves out there in a positive way, taking care of, looking the best with what God gave you is something I always think about, right? Like, put on some nice clothes, like get a haircut, like don't sit in your basement and play video games all day, work out a little bit, change your diet, get your confidence up, work hard so that you can be successful with monetarily speaking, if that's important to you, being able to provide, save, get good credit, like buy a house, like do these kind of things, keep your car clean. So when you go on a date, she's not walking into some trash automobile. Like there are things that men can do on a day-to-day basis, some of them small, some big, to level yourself up. So it doesn't matter necessarily how you look physically. I think it more matters how a woman looks. I think there can be ugly dudes, and if you got money and confidence and swagger, you can pull an attractive woman, but you have to have that first. But a lot of these guys in this MGTOW community don't even have that together, and they're expecting more than they're willing to give somebody else.
Yeah. Mike says looks will initially attract a woman, but she'll run for the hills if he is weak-minded.
Absolutely, I agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's. But I guess where is the balance, right? Like you said, there's some things that I'm sure the MGTOW community and many is Red Pill and all these other communities, they're saying some stuff that could be considered all right. They got some points here, but where's the line when you're watching all of them and you're still struggling to date? And you still think, well, all women out there are a problem. It just, where is that balance? Because it has to be some level of balance, right? And on the other side, I'm sure women their expectations are probably not realistic either. Because like you're saying, going back to they want a man that's over 6 feet, 100K earning potential. Well, that's like what, 10%, 1%? Like that's,
it's like
not enough.
1%, yeah.
There's not enough of those men to have those things, right? Or to get to that point. So it's always going to be a problem because right now more men are alone or are not with a partner than ever before. And there's people who are going to try to take advantage of. That's what they're saying with Eli, where he looks at a community and say, I could jump in.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, each community is going to do that. It's going to be a problem no matter what, because all right, so going back to this idea, Eli saying, I apologize for everything I've said. I apologize a million times. The guy doesn't wash his hands. Says, you guys should accept his apology. How many times he's going to apologize? This is the problem. We don't believe you.
Yeah, there you go.
It's not. It's
not genuine. Yeah,
it's not genuine.
Yeah,
because he behaves. The pattern behavior hasn't changed.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter if a person keeps apologizing. We don't believe the person. That's the problem. That's why he gets the attention he's getting. We look at it. He'll say something and immediately contradict himself minutes later. I'm not disrespect you. And he proceeds to start disrespecting the person. Like, did you not forget what you just said? And the same, apologize. So what? A lot of times you can beat someone's ass and apologize, or use the word respectfully, and then say something disrespectful,
and then talk shit. But what's funny? It seems like he goes into communities and plays the victim a lot. And woe is me and violin. Oh, the world's smallest violin. I feel bad. Blah blah blah. It's weak. It's weak. It's just a weak. And I think, and I've struggled with confidence issues at certain parts in my life, right? So I'm speaking from a place of like, I've had to learn that about myself, right? What does it really mean to be a confident man? And how does a confident man move and talk and interact and carry himself? And what do I expect out of myself? Therefore, I expect that out of others, right? So it's just, we have to do a better job of stop playing the victims. Women don't like that shit. They do not. Okay. Women do not value a man that is not confident in himself. Okay. You're not going to attract the kind of woman that's going to be worth your time if you don't feel good in your own skin. And I think a lot of guys, some of us need to take that year off, right? There's this whole thing about, hey, take a year off, escape, work on you, and then come back, right? And not enough men are willing to do that. We want that instant gratification. I want her to like me now. She should take me. She should let me take her on a date. She should do this. She should do that. But you haven't fixed yourself yet. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I think some men need to realize you got to do that, man. Just take a year off. Work on yourself. Work on your mental health. Work on your bank account. Work on your credit. Work on your mental health. Work on your physical health, right? Get that job that you want. Get that promotion, whatever. Start a business, whatever you got to do, right? Stack some money. We have to be willing to do that. We have to become the best version of ourselves if we're going to attract the women that we want. And if you're not willing to do that, I don't want to hear you bitch complain that you can't get a date. I just don't.
So what you're saying, correct me if I'm wrong, that it could work going your own way for a limited time, right? You got out of a really bad relationship, you got divorced. You probably shouldn't try to jump into anything serious for quite a while. Like you said, you got to get yourself together. And then when you get yourself together, you are a better catch, clearly. And I think that makes sense. But I think with the hardcore MGTOW people are saying, even if I did get myself together, I'm gonna still only focus on the career or whatever other stuff, because he thinks that it's going to be compromised if he goes into that traditional relationship, that his resources will be divided, obviously, especially if kids come in. I mean, that's where I think the issue is, and how they react to that by saying, I don't want to deal with that anymore.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think you have to understand, what kind of relationship do you want? Do you want a traditional relationship? Do you want a relationship where both people are earning money? Like, that has to be settled within the dating realm, and that communication has to be really tight, right?
Yeah.
Because, if you're more traditional and your family, your women, your kids, whatever that dynamic looks like, if they're wanting certain things and wanting to do this, that's not her problem. That's your problem. If you're the breadwinner, you got to figure out how to make more money. That's the role that you decided to enter when you went into that relationship. Right. If you're in a relationship where both people are earning money and it's a shared revenue stream, then you work together on that, and it's a together problem, right? But so it depends on the kind of relationship that you are requiring and that you're entering into. I am kind of traditional, like a new way traditional. Like, I work, Madison doesn't, right? So if we have money issues, that's my problem, not hers. But that's the relationship that we have. Not everybody will have that, right? So if we need to do certain things and we want to go somewhere, it's my job in my relationship to figure out, how do I make more money so I can give her that? Because if I give her that, she's going to be happy. If she's happy, I'm going to get the things that I want. I think it's a lot easier than we make it sometimes. But if you're in a relationship, where it's both revenue incomes, and you want to have something, you want to go on a cruise, you want to do this, you want to get a new car, then you're going to work together on that. And that's fine, right? But I think too many times we look at it like we're playing against each other. The man's mad at the woman because he feels like she's taking too much, or vice versa. But you have to have that communication in the beginning, the beginning grounds of the relationship. And I think not enough people, men and women, are willing to have those kind of conversations to lay out clear, realistic expectations of what they both want. And when you're not willing to do that, typically, I believe, it's because the man is lacking in confidence. You're not sure of yourself to say, you know what, the relationship that I want is, I'd like if we'd be able to, you stay at home with the kids and take care of the house, and then I'll work. I mean, that's the dynamic that I want. Or the other side of that is, I'm a man, and you know what, I want both of us to work, because I want us to both make money, and I want us to have these goals together, and I want us to both be successful. But not enough men are confident enough to share that initially in the dating process, whether you're on one side of the fence or the other, because we're just waiting for the woman to make the decision. Men have to start stepping up and being that voice in the relationship. And I don't think that we've done that enough in the last 20 years. And women have been the voice. And I think women are upset about that. And I think that's why we have this disconnect.
Yeah. Good point.
Sorry to rant for a while, but that's how I look at it. So.
It's all good. Ron talking about, it took time off to raise his daughter. Now he enjoyed it. He's been celibate for 17 years. He'd rather just deal with him. He said, I'd rather deal with just me. And so that's an element of that, and I think
MGTOW. So Ron's a little bit of a MGTOW, maybe. I don't know.
And that's I think there are many people who probably can thrive with that situation. I think if they had a choice, you would want to be with a partner. But there's probably some people who's like, I don't want to deal with anybody. And that's a small segment, and that's fine. Like, we're not saying anyone who's MGTOW is everyone is a problem. I think there's many that they're struggling to find solutions. Ron, if you're doing it for 17 years, you clearly are settled and pretty good. Like, I saw you a couple weeks ago. You're pretty happy. Yeah. You seem pretty collected in what you're doing.
Yeah.
But what are those who still try to figure it out? I mean, but it's good to have all types of options. Decide what works for you. You can do it. Who says if you do it once, like I'm doing my MGTOW thing, it could be for a year. Great. Like I said, get your stuff together. You're good to go.
Yeah.
Giggy said you must get yourself together, then get with someone who got themselves together, and that's the hard part, right?
You got to have yourself together first. I think that's important. And I've entered relationships when I didn't have myself together as much as I should have, and it doesn't work long term. So I think that's a good point.
Absolutely. Marty says I've been listening to Stoic philosophy, stuff like this kind of go along with the subject. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Stoicism. I think it really works because it kind of puts all the onus on you. You know, when someone says something terrible, right, at you, most of us would say, I'm this guy got me mad. But the real reality is, no, you got yourself mad. It's your decision whether to react or not. Like, they kind of bring it like, listen, the world is cold, it's going to be fucked up. How you interpret it is on you. And the problem is, well, you know, talking about Eli, there is no onus on himself. It's my trolls and haters are after me. They're taking things out of context. Hannibal and Pedro have been paid $10,000 to talk about him. He said it out of his mouth.
Let me say this right now.
$10,000.
I wish. If somebody wants to write Hannibal and I a check for $5,000 each, I will cash that motherfucker tomorrow and I'll start talking about Eli every day. But we have not been paid. But if somebody wants to pay us, I'll cash that check. I know Hannibal will too. So
what a level of where did he get that number from? Who told him that?
Bro,
I think he just made it up in his mind. He think he is so important that someone will give us $10,000 to talk about his channel. That's what I'm saying. I think he's gone.
Crazy.
You can't can't fix that.
Yeah.
And maybe that's the wrong for me to say because I'm not a mental health professional. He's gone, bro. We got paid $10,000. Really?
Yeah. I wish. Shit. I'll cash that check tomorrow. Wouldn't you? I mean, somebody wants to pay $5,000.
Absolutely.
We're already talking. I mean, please, I'll cash that check. Send it my way.
It's just like no one got like $10,000. Like he thinks he is so important. Like, in his mind, he is so important that trolls are going to pay us that much to talk about him when he has the 40-something people in the chat and it's only 3 people talking.
You know why he feels that way, right? You want me to dissect it for you real quick?
Please,
you know why?
Please. I'm just
so it goes back to the mommy issues. He still lives with his mother. His mother has coddled him and pacified him for most of his life, and he feels he's the most important person because that's how his mom makes him feel. His mom has been a detriment to him. That's my opinion. That's how I feel about it. And he has this false sense of identity because of that.
I've noticed in the last couple of shows, there's a few things he's really obsessed with. Obviously, he's obsessed with Pedro.
Yeah, he is.
He's obsessed of talking about his woman. A lot of talking about, like, a weird amount. Like, we all have relationships, and we obviously talk about relationships. But everything is my lady with my lady, and my lady.
It's like over projection of the relationship. It's like over projecting. Like everything's perfect, everything's great. She respects me.
Pedestal. Which I thought you don't do that. I guess he left that community. But I know in others, like, you don't supposed to do that. You know, it's supposed to be you're on top of things. So, but he's really, really obsessed with that. He's obsessed with age, and so the latest thing. I don't know if you watched his video.
Yeah, no, I didn't. He thinks that you intimidated John Billings to back off or something. You scared him, and he's talking about John. He's talking as John Billings is watching, which I don't think John Billings has no idea what's going on. No, he don't care. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, you letting Pedro take your balls.
What?
And the problem, yeah. He has mentioned balls a lot. Like, masculinity is a very important part. The problem is he does not exude a lot of strong masculinity by his voice, his mannerisms, the way he handles. But in his head, he's a really powerful masculine person. But he's really focused on that. He mentioned. I saw a few funny clips where like, "You got no penis," or "You got no balls." Like he's been, in my opinion, I have no proof of this. If someone may pay me $10,000, or I'll figure it out. I'll figure out I'll do some research.
Yeah, you could pay me too. I throw my hat in there. You can pay me as well. I'll take a week off and do all the research I need to. Go ahead.
I think he has experienced some times where his masculinity has been taken away from him. He's been demasculated some parts of his formative years. Yes. And he said that. He said, I was just like you, John. And I was a people pleaser, and there's things that's happened in his life that created, I guess, the issue that we're dealing with. But it's really predicated on masculinity. And, John, you don't have to change your tune. Don't let him try to intimidate you and give you balls. Like, fight back. You're a masculine man. Even though John Billings is literally a father, and he's had, but whatever.
And he reached out to me and apologized, and I said, "Hey, why don't you come on the show?" And he came on the show, and we're good. John will tell you that. I didn't like that because when you have a difference, you just talk about it and you figure it out, and that's what people do. You don't hide behind a microphone and go on a walk and block everybody. You actually have a dialogue, right? Yeah. And you that's what you do. So I think you're spot on with the demasculation. I think he's it's very sad because we talk about and real issues here. We talk about sad and lonely men and the mental health and society and how men are being treated in society. Like, it's an issue. It's a problem. It is, right? Definitely. I don't feel like it is for you and I, at least not now. Maybe at other times in our life it was, right? I think
I was lucky to be born where I didn't. Like, I started using computers. I started going to the internet 15, 14. Like, so I lived all the formative years, I don't think I had a cell phone. I remember I had to use the pay phone to call my dad if I had to do something because I had no, he was at work. I didn't have no cell phone. There was a life where we didn't have the internet. And of course, I think things are better for many reasons. The lack access to information, what we're doing, this is all access to technology advancing. But there was a time when you ordered something from the TV, you had a call, right? And then it came to you 6 weeks later, right? Like there was a pattern of like things were slower. You had to, if you wanted to meet a woman, you had to leave the house. There's no app there. You had to go out and go to the socials or the club or a roller rink or the park. You had to put yourself in that position. We don't have to do that anymore. We can literally stay in the house forever now.
But don't you think it gave us a false sense of reality and a false sense of entitlement? And we want it now, and I want this woman to like me now. And as men, we're not willing to fucking stand up and be a man and figure shit out and maybe have a little patience and work on yourself. And so that's just how I look at it. I think the society and the internet has had has been a detriment to that in some ways. But as men, we can still, as people, women as well, but as men specifically, we can control our movements and how we do certain things and our interactions and our work ethic and our confidence. We can control that. And if you allow a woman to control your confidence as a man, you're done. Like, you're just not going to ever have a really strong relationship, I don't believe.
Yeah. Marty says, like, Columbia House CDs. Damn right.
I remember the BMG? Was it BMG?
Yeah, I think I got my first DMX album from there. My father bought it. It was one of those two. I had a few, like, I think Big Punisher. It was a bunch of like old school, like 90s, and they were super cheap at the time. But I think it was a scam. But it doesn't matter. That I just buy a bunch of those CDs. Nowadays, like I said, you don't even have to do that anymore. It's over. But going back to you saying about mommy issues. So that seems like a really powerful dynamic, right? How you was raised. Was it a single parent home? I've always talked about, a lot of dudes in the neighborhood, they act feminine. Yeah, they may be very tough and aggressive and doing all types of dumb shit. But when you realize they didn't have a father in their life, you can tell why it's so quick to fight. Like some dudes out there will fight over anything.
Yeah.
You bump into them. And it's very emotional. You're like, why is this man is so emotional? Well, if they've been raised with only women, what else are they gonna learn, right? They didn't have that.
That's a good point.
That's why it's important, or even special when some of these athletes they may come from single parent home, but they go and meet a coach, a strong male figure that's with them. That's why a lot of them go back to see the high school coach, because I think that's when they needed a strong male figure in their lives, and they were able to get it. And there's some people who
hopefully they don't run into Coach Eli online, because that's gonna fuck you up.
That's not.
Yeah, that's not gonna. That's not gonna be good for you.
What's the difference between, like I said, the Coach Prime and Coach Eli? Like, okay, what makes a good coach? Let's bring this down. What makes a great coach? The things that Eli does not do. But go ahead, you can throw some. I got some ideas in my head.
I think a good coach has to, you have to not be worried about what other people think about you. So you have to have a very direct message and be confident in what you're saying, right. Whether it comes from a place of experience, maybe you played before, but you don't. Some great coaches, maybe they didn't play before, but they're a student of the game, and they're very smart about things. But you have to stand in front of a group of men and women as a coach and speak with purpose and speak with confidence. Yeah. Okay. And you got to get them here before you get them here, right? So you got to get to know your players a little bit, know how to have conversations that might be different one-on-one with this player versus that player, because they value different things. They came from a different household. They're a different type of player. They need to be coached differently, right? So as you're talking to a room of a whole team at once, you got to be confident and clear and decisive in your tone and your message. And then as you're having individual conversations and individual coaching, you have to cater that to that individual, because maybe you can yell at one player, but the other player, you got to look at them in the eye and say, hey, what's going on? And let them talk. So you have to confidence is the main thing. I think good coaches are very confident and they speak with purpose. That's at least my experience with coaches that I've coached and when I've done coaching myself.
Yeah. You kind of just said a little bit of everything that Eli doesn't have on, like the emotional intelligence. He does not have it. That's why everything is a slight. Everything is you're banned because you asked me a question. Like he can't handle his emotions. Obviously expertise. I think Eli is really good at regurgitating stuff that he already said. Like it's all surface level stuff. It's no like deep level analysis of anything. He has the talking points. He said the same thing about a bunch of dating websites have said, a bunch of Red Pill stuff. Like nothing comes out. I'm like, wow, that's insightful. It's really the same stuff. So there's no deep expertise. And a big problem, accountability. The guy doesn't hold any accountability. You can't be a good coach if you're not accountable for your own actions and also what your team does or the people around you do. So like being a good manager is when something goes wrong, one of your people, your employees that you hired does something wrong, when the owner or someone above you, you got to take responsibility because that's your guy, that's your girl. Like you train, even if the person totally sucked, well, they shouldn't have been there if you had, did what you had to do. So accountability is extremely important for good coaches. And I think that's why Deion Sanders is such a great coach, man, because he don't sugarcoat for those kids. I mean, think about it. Remember when he first got to that school, a bunch of players left. He said, "Listen, you won one game last year. You got to change this shit up." And
he was honest. He was honest about it. He didn't sugarcoat. Yeah.
And remember, the media was giving him some flack back then. We all forget now. He's everyone loves him now, but they were like, "Does he know what he's doing?" A lot of players left. Is this how it works? And well, so far, like I said,
when you only win one game, you're 1-11. The players and coaches should leave. I don't blame him for saying, "Let's blow this up." Like nobody here won last year, so why the fuck would I want to win with these? They're not winners. So you bring in your Jackson State boys, some good coaches, some good transfers, some good recruits. I mean, that's what any smart individual would do, right? I mean, you're not gonna be able to compete with a team that was 1-11 last year with the same players. No, it doesn't work like that.
No, definitely not. Oh, listen. Has anyone been fined for stealing music? No, I got a few. Yeah, same thing with Marty. I got a few letters, emails. I remember when
I never was part of that. I never really.
Yeah.
No, I purchased CDs, and I wasn't part of that online downloading stuff. I always purchased stuff.
You're such a boomer.
I like the actual CD. I didn't download shit.
Yeah, it was free. You go, Kaza or NASA. Yo, it was one time I was downloading music. I was basically, I was a criminal. I was downloading. I had so many songs, and I had a 56K modem.
What were you downloading them onto? On the computer or
on the computer?
Like iPad? Okay.
I would. Well, there's no before. This is before iPads, before iPhones. Okay. It was just a computer, and we used to. I take the songs, and I would buy blank CDs, and I would burn them. So I have my own mixes instead of the old school way. You just took a cassette and wait till the radio played your song.
Yeah.
And the DJ didn't fuck it up by yelling over it. But this, you were able to download the songs, and I'll burn them on a CD. And I remember one time, my computer crashed, deleted everything. And the problem is, it took for one song, right, a 5-minute song, 4 minutes, took about 20 to 30 minutes to download. What? Nowadays the song takes like 2 seconds.
Instant.
So I was so mad when my computer crashed. Like all my tracks are gone, and I had to take weeks to download them all again. But
that's
those were good times, man. Yeah.
See, I was old school. I was a dude that had the big old thing in my car, the big booklet with all the sleeves. I had 100 CDs. Yeah. That was me. And maybe somebody might steal it out of your car, but like that was. But you didn't need a backup because you had the actual physical CD. You know what I'm saying? So.
Well, but that's how it used to be back in the day, and I'm sure some people probably made tons of money because that's how you did it. You made some mixtapes and stuff like that.
Oh, and you could sell them. You could sell them.
Absolutely, because I don't know if it still happens. It's been a while since I actually been in a barbershop, clearly. But every once in a while, someone will roll in with a bunch of DVDs, a bunch of CDs.
$5 or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they still got Friday somehow and the VHS tape. You can grab it, buy it, and check it out.
Yeah. Those are the good old days, man. But now it's easy. You just download it on Apple or Spotify or whatever you use, and I like it now, and it should be easier because we've evolved with the technology. But yeah, I used to love the CD. I mean, you would put all your DMXs on one thing, and then you got all your Nas, and you got you put them all together and organize it. Like I was a nerd like that, man. I had hundreds and hundreds of CDs.
Yeah, but you actually had to pay for them.
Yeah,
I mean, it was a crime. I mean, it's not. I mean, that's it. The whole downloading, streaming thing just threw the entire music industry for a loop because you used to make money on the CDs. I mean, I remember going to Sam Goody or going to what's the other bunch of
Sam? We had a Blockbuster Music where you could actually listen to the CD first before you'd buy it, and CDs would come out. They come out on Tuesdays, right? So I'd get off high school or out of middle school. I'd go to that Blockbuster Music. You could listen to a CD. They'd open it up, and you could listen and buy it or not buy it. That was Blockbuster Music, Sam Goody, Spencer's. I used to go to even Target or Venture, and they'd have the little CD aisle. I'd buy them there. That's where I would get them. And then BMG or Columbia, those little little pamphlets where you could buy 6 for 1 or whatever. I used to do that as well.
Yeah, the one spot I remember going to a lot, and at that point, we were just going there just to hang out because it was such a big store. The Virgin Record Store, the big one in Times Square. And you would go. I would go there just to listen to music. They had some testers you could check out. Just to see if I liked it, and then go home and burn it.
Yeah, there you go. That's smart. I would just buy it. I like to have the actual CD itself. So
yeah. Do you remember last time you've been in a Blockbuster?
Hold on, let me see. So my daughter's 20, 18 years ago. Was the last time I was in a Blockbuster.
I think the last time I remember going routinely to a Blockbuster, my chick was in college. So she's 55 years old right now. No, she's not close. So that was a while.
Hold on. 55? What are you talking about?
No, she's going to be mad because she heard that.
Yeah,
that's the last time. And the whole Blockbuster experience was fun too. You actually had to go somewhere.
Yeah,
and
man.
look at the sleeves, look at and look at what you want to watch. And then you take something, go home, but now we've removed all social aspects, even the aspect of just to leave your home has been taken away.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Coupling that, going back to the relationship part, I think things will still be difficult because everything is so Amazon Prime, get it in 2 days, get it fast as possible. Yeah. I could order something right now to get something to eat and see one human being instead of going outside and seeing multiple human beings.
See, I feel like I think this is me and you are very different. I think we obviously have similarities and likenesses, but I think Hannibal, and tell me if I'm wrong, Hannibal is a guy that likes to order shit. He doesn't want to leave his house, right? He's ordering Instacart, he's ordering food, he's doing this, he's burning CDs. I get bored. I want to, even today, I want to leave and go to the grocery store and buy my own groceries, buy something. I don't like buying shit online. I like the interaction and being outside and seeing the sun. Like, I like that. But I think Hannibal is the extreme opposite of that. What do you say?
Growing up, definitely were more insulated, more introverted. And now, as I think probably towards my late 20s, I started to realize, I'm pretty bored here. I need to go out and start living life. And I think things got a little better. I mean, because if I felt that same way that I felt back then, I would never went to see any of you guys. I would just stayed home and chilled out.
Good point. You do get around a lot now. It seems like you get around a lot. You do a lot of shit. Yeah.
I'm making up for all the times I probably was just sitting there playing a whole bunch of video games and doing a whole lot of nothing. So like, and with the boy over here, my son, he's always doing stuff. He's always going outside. Like he doesn't stay down. He's bouncing around. You need to go out and experience life. And I think when you do that, you're able to interact with other people, women and stuff like that. And you should have a better idea of what's going on. So.
All right, read that. I need you to read that comment.
Because if I do, cougars dig those tongue rings. Bobby, how you remember too many things, man? That was funny.
He does. He's spot on. Bobby is so good. Yeah. Bobby and Giggity are they're on it. Yeah.
So at one point, if guys haven't, it's been a while since we talked about this. At one point, I guess you could say, around like 10 years ago, but probably around 8 years ago, I had an eyebrow ring, I had the earrings pierced, and I had a tongue ring. So clearly I was lost, and I was trying.
What do you want? Hold on. Pause. Why do you say you're lost? Because you had those things? Because you don't have them now?
I have a few pictures of how I look. It was like, what the hell was I thinking? But I had the braids.
Listen, I gotta see. We have to see these pictures, man. We gotta see them,
absolutely not. Absolutely,
we got to. I'm gonna find them. I'll be in New York in like 10 days, so I'll find them.
Well, you know what? Maybe. Hopefully, you forget this. But yeah. But the piercing thing, I know that's kind of cool. I think it was just something counterculture now. Problem is like everyone's doing it, so like, well, I guess it's not that interesting. I probably had that idea at one point. The tongue ring, that I am surprised I even got that done. To be honest, that was in a strip mall in Queens.
What? A strip mall? Damn.
Yeah, no regular spot. Just walked in there, and the guy just took a fucking, we call those things a tongue, like basically grabbed it and went. Yeah.
It's like a hole puncher, just.
Basic. Well, no, he had it was like a big fucking. I don't know what he did, but I didn't get infected and die. So, if you guys want to talk about more tongue rings, let me know. I'll able to help out.
I mean, I've dated some women with tongue rings, but I've never had one myself. I'm too selfish of a lover, so I don't do the whole tongue ring thing, bro. I'm good. I just But
the cool thing with a tongue ring, you can replace them, and there's some tongue rings that have a vibrator on top of them.
What?
So, yeah.
Listen.
Like
Hannibal, listen, we're learning a lot about Hannibal tonight.
A friend of mine told me this.
A friend told you. Yeah. Look at Hannibal's Google search history from 8 years ago. This shit's crazy. I mean, it's crazy.
A friend, his name is Daniel. So you could buy it, right? And have a little battery in there, and you turn it on, and it will buzz.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. Listen, that's too new age for me. I'm good, man. I'm good.
That was 10 years ago, too age. Like, it was 10 years ago.
That's too, just listen, I'm old school. Just bend it over. I'm good to go. We're good.
The Dash Wagon said, I got a tongue ring once and it fell out and I swallowed it. Oh, my goodness.
What?
That's why I still think that's why metal detectors still go on.
Ron, you crazy. You wild, man. You wild.
I hope. Yeah, no. Have I? No. Have I? No. Because there's times where because there's a little stud you have to screw it in on the tip. It's possible. There's times they popped out, but I don't think I ever swallowed it though.
Yes, I'm good. I'm good.
Do you drown in juice? Wait.
Huh?
Yes.
Hold on. I think I know where he's going with that.
Yeah,
that's funny.
But yeah, now we're just everyone's talking about Windows XP. So Pedro, you haven't really jumped into the computer stuff when you were back.
No, man, no.
I told you, Pedro was out in the streets, man, balling.
I was out there, man.
Girls, man. He ain't got time with these nerd ass motherfuckers talking.
I was a dude. Y'all was downloading shit, which is cool. Yeah. But I'm out there playing ball. I'm at the mall trying to talk to a chick. Like I was out there. Like, and if I failed, I failed. But I was gonna give it a puncher's chance. I was always doing something, and I wasn't in the house a lot. So
you're probably better off. I think a lot, even the executives of these apps probably don't have their kids using tablets and using cell phones, because I think they know how addictive it is. I'm sure in those those probably private schools, they probably not sitting there forcing them to stay on apps. They probably taking them outside because they realize it's potentially dangerous to have that going on, right? It went down as chicken nuggets when he was eating. So that's how that's
nasty. Our 2-year-old goes to a little school, and it's a nice school, and they don't have any of those smart boards or none of that. At least not on this age level, right? It's all they go outside all the time. They have the toys that they play with are like handmade. Like some of it's really different, but it's nice because she does have a tablet and she's on it a lot sometimes. And we watch TV, but I try to do my part in taking her on walks and going. Her mom takes us to the park, and I just think you got to have a balance with kids. I think if they're just inside too much, it's bad.
Absolutely.
They gotta go outside, and they gotta see other things that can be other ways of having fun without technology, right? I think if you do something too much, it can be a bad thing. And I think some of us have too much technology, too much devices, and it can be a negative thing sometimes.
Absolutely. It is. It may not seem that way at the time. Like me I probably spent too much time playing video games when I was in my 20s, but everyone was playing video games, at least in my little community. Video games are a multi-billion-dollar business.
Well, they still are, aren't they? I feel like people
definitely.
Big time. Yeah, it's big.
I think it's got worse with terms of microtransactions, the addictive nature, the apps, the notifications telling you to come back. Oh, try this. We got this new thing going on. Paying all these little stuff. So yeah, it's definitely a lot of problems. But I think it's important to have these conversations, even if we're we're making fun of the guy. At this point, how far are we going to be able to continue on? As you can tell, we're talking about him less and less. I think MGTOW stuff is just something we want to talk about.
It's a general thing. I think,
right.
We might throw. It's not. Yeah, it's not going to be Eli streams. He's doing that to us. It seems like, at least what I hear. But it's more just about. We've talked about these topics before, and men and women, and now we just have somebody that fits into the discussion sometimes.
Some examples
and things, and these individuals are bringing it on themselves. We didn't come into their community; they came into ours. So I think we need to remind everybody and them of that. We didn't go to you; you came to us. And the problem is, you just met two individuals that have a good balance of petty intellect and don't give a fuck, and that's where you fucked up. So you came to us; we didn't come to you. I want to make that very clear to you and everybody out there.
And like I said, I don't think anything's going to change. I think it'll still be back and forth the stuff. And if there's something interesting, sure, we'll bring it up. But I don't see.
It's not really interesting anymore at this point, right?
It's getting played out a little bit. When I saw the two locals about to fight each other, like they're going back and forth right now, I'm like, all right, well, time to move on. Because I know a lot of people were checking out Robert's stuff, and I think I saw some posts kind of linking us both together. Robert doesn't like us, so we're not in the same.
No.
I mean, you check. Just put his name in mind. He's not a big fan of us, so we're not the same. It's just Eli is so terrible that no one likes him. Right? That's the problem. So we're definitely not the same.
It's very sad. It's sad. I've used it. It's very, very sad. And yeah. But March 2024, I mean, I'll be in Cali. Hannibal will be in Cali. So we might take a walk with purpose. We don't know. It could happen.
You've been doing walk with purposes. Is that a thing? For a while. All you do is walk. You film yourself walking. You did that. Maybe copying you because that's what you were doing.
That's a good point. I have done plenty of those.
At least 2 years ago.
I think Eli wants my life. I really believe that he wished he had some hair, a beautiful woman. I think, a family, like actually making money in the gig economy and not being a victim. I think he wants to be me. And I think that's where the love and hate comes from. So I do believe.
Well, yeah. I mean, and you're good. I guess good for you not to watch it. It's really the same. He walks, he stops, he checks his phone, he bans a person for asking a question. You're like, hey, Eli, how you doing today? You're banned. That was an attack on me.
It's so cringy. It's so cringy, man. Oh, it's so bad.
Yeah. It's a whole thing. But hopefully, and then the guys who are out there keeping Eli accountable by just being there, obviously you're affecting Eli's bottom line and his sanity. So, you guys could do what y'all got to do.
Yeah.
All right, before we head out, Marty says you can coach him, Pedro, charge him $10K.
Hey, Eli, I'll tell you what. I'll give you free life coaching, and I'll make you a better man if you give me 12 months, Eli. I'll get you a good-looking woman. I'll get you your finances up. I'll get you some confidence. I'll get you some confidence to take off that fedora and show that beautiful bald head of yours. I'll get you some confidence on those walks of purpose. I'll do it for free. All I need is 12 months. Free offer. Yeah. There you go.
Publicly. There you go. There you go. And don't pretend you don't watch it. I'm sure you're watching. Yeah, well, I don't know, guys. I think we got everything out. I think we're good.
I think we're good. Yeah, I cashed. I mean, I got some money. I'm gonna cash that in. There you go. Take my boy Hannibal out for a nice dinner or some drinks when I see him in New York with that money. So I'm really looking forward to that. So
definitely appreciate you as always, Pedro. And thank you guys for coming through. I know we still are a little longer than usual. We appreciate you guys hanging out with us. I'm sure we're gonna have tons of stuff to talk about on Wednesday. Actually, listen to that P. Diddy album.
What did you think about that? I didn't think it was that. I didn't think it was bad either. I thought there was a couple good tracks. Yeah, I thought it was okay. It was okay. Yeah.
I don't know if there's a lot of P. Diddy fans in chat right now. We'll see how far they'll drop after we start talking about it real quick. But the album he had is called Love Off the Grid. Is that what the album name? Yeah. I liked it. Problem is, I didn't check it. I didn't finish all. It was 23 songs. Like who still puts that many songs on the album?
Yeah, I listened to about 16 of them when I was out on. I think it was Saturday when I sent you that. And they're pretty good. I like that he didn't make it all about him. He's got a lot of features and other talented people, right? So I thought it was decent.
Yeah, P. Diddy basically had 45,000 features. All your favorite artists is on this.
Yeah.
You whatever from Busta Rhymes to Summer Walker. I think I saw even French Montana. I said Bieber in there. But I consider P. Diddy like the kind of like the what do you call it? What's that big boxer promoter that stole all the money for everybody?
Don King.
Very similar to Don King of the rap, a little bit. Now I know
that's fair.
To promote his album, he released all the publishing rights from all the Bad Boy artists. So some people say, that's a great gesture. I've seen some videos saying that the rights were milked for decades, so they're worthless. I don't know. I have no idea. I have no idea how the publishing rights work. I mean, you think about it, the older the stuff is, the least valuable, unless you're like Michael Jackson or Bob Marley, and you can still make money from commercials, stuff like that. You don't really listen to a lot of Bad Boy hits nowadays. I mean, I still do, but so that could be it where P. Diddy was like, I don't even need this. I'm already probably close to a billionaire, or probably a billionaire. I don't need this, and I could tax write it off, like whatever. But he definitely did this to promote his album. I thought it was pretty good. P. Diddy knows how to at least he knows what a hit sounds like. I don't know if he produces.
Oh, for sure. I mean,
he knows what a hit like. So, beyond, if you love hip hop and R&B, I think you'll like some of the stuff that's on this album. Definitely.
I think if you like R&B, the new wave of R&B, you'll really enjoy this. But it's funny because P. Diddy's what? He's got to be 55 or something, right? He's got to be in that age range, right? So 50, it's funny to hear him kind of rap and talk about certain things. 53, okay. Yeah. And so it's funny to hear him now because he does sound a little different than he did when he was making, the P. Diddy and the Family, and then a couple other bad albums. Yeah. He made a couple really, really bad albums, right? But this one was decent. So I think he's always been a above average producer, in my opinion, and a really, really superb hit maker. I think his hit making ability is not questioned. Yeah, big time. So I thought, when I saw it on my Apple thing, I was intrigued. I was like, all right, I gotta give this a listen. And I sent it to you, and I was like, okay, this isn't bad. It's not bad.
Yeah, I mean, I remember one of the albums I remember growing up listening to was Puff Daddy and the Family, No Way Out. That was a pretty good album. I mean, that had at that point he had the Locks, he had Mace, he had B.I.G. And we listened to some of the songs that was on that. I mean, he had the hits. I mean, he had the best samples, and then you had strong people who knew how to write lyrics, obviously for him. Listen to Victory with that beat, and then Busta Rhymes in there.
That is still one of my when I want to, for me, that song and like a couple of DMX songs and the Black Rob Whoa song.
Oh yeah.
It just gets you so amped to run through a damn wall, and that Victory music video was historic. I remember watching that like, damn, what the fuck? You got Busta Rhymes as a gargoyle? Like, what is happening here? Puff Daddy's running and just an amazing song for me. Hip hop history, like that has a moment for me,
Yeah. So I think that's why we all have a special place of Puff Daddy, regardless of whatever. Again, a lot of people have a lot of negative things to say about how he handled.
There's been a lot of rumors and stuff. Yeah, man.
Well, the rumor stuff is even weirder than that. But But if you guys like some rap and R&B, but like I said, a little bit focused on R&B. I mean, it's called the Love Album, so I think you guys would check it out. I know most of you guys are probably not interested in some P. Diddy stuff, but we love hip hop here, so we're gonna be talking about it.
And we talk a lot about hip hop. I know it's been several weeks, but we'll get into that. We're not historians, at least I'm not, but we like to talk about hip hop and what we like, and we'll listen to new stuff and some old things and rate some things and give a top 10 list on this or that. So we do talk about that here as well.
Yeah. Oh, Jody says she has this CD. That's what's up.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Marty's all about the Benjamins with that beat and that guitar rip, and then you see B.I.G. at the end with a different beat coming on top of that where he puts his.
Love it. That's classic, man. It's classic.
So check that out, guys. But on that note, we gotta get out of here. It's almost 12 for me. I gotta get some sleep.
We do.
Yeah, well, I know Paige is up for another 3 hours. He's a robot. He just keeps moving, man.
I am. But I don't recommend it, so don't take my advice on that. But I'll be up for another, maybe 2, not 3, maybe 2 hours. Yeah.
Definitely. All right, guys. Thank you for checking us out, and we'll be back here on Wednesday. Peace.